Hey guys, Wyatt Claypool here. One of the most entertaining aspects of the ongoing leadership crisis for Prime Minister Justin Trudeau and the Liberal government is watching all of the terminally online Liberal supporters sequestering themselves from reality and convincing themselves that Prime Minister Justin Trudeau can still make a comeback. The Liberals can still win the 2025 federal election. Guys, it's not happening. You're literally 20 points down in the polls. Some polls put them down like 24 points. You're not going to make that gap up in less than a year. Even if the election is in October, it's not happening. There's no way that Trudeau is going to suddenly get a burst of popularity. The man polls lower than asbestos in terms of his approval rating. It's insane. I'm going to be all these liberals' dad for a second and just give you some advice that you may have not heard in your life yet. Son, sometimes you don't win every baseball game. Sometimes the other team was just better. And in this case, you guys also just suck. You just ignored every concern Canadians had for like 9 years, and you're wondering why the party that you like is no longer favored to win the election. I don't know how to explain this to you. Go to your room. Anyways, we're going to be talking about some of these posts today because I just find it funny. I'm just going to be transparent about it. These are hilarious. But before I get into it, guys, make sure to subscribe to the channel. Go and hit the subscribe button. I have a stupid bet I made that if I don't get to 100,000 subscribers by December of next year, I owe all my friends dinner. The only thing I get if I win is I get dinner paid for me. So I get like $50 basically worth of a prize, but I could end up having to shell out like $500 in return. So if you want to save me money, please subscribe to the channel. That really helps me out and also helps the channel grow, of course. Here is our first post that we're going to go over today from our favorite liberal online, BK Belton. I don't even follow her, but for some reason she follows me. And her take on what's going on with Justin Trudeau and the Liberals is the media is the problem. JT's still gonna win. Of course she is. And this is why I responded. If you post something like this, you may be the problem. And she's sharing a headline from Cult MTL or Cult Montreal from October 7th, 2024. I don't even Cult Montreal might not post something this delusional in December. And the headline says Canada's mainstream media is biased towards the Conservatives by Matthew Renfrew. Very funny that Matthew Renfrew is writing this article for Cult MTL, a publication that both gets government funding from the federal government as well as the Quebec provincial government. And the subhead says the right controls almost all of Canada's legacy media. These people don't seem to understand that the media not doing propaganda for you is not like a crime against you. They seem to actually think they're being like aggressed against if the legacy media is not always giving them a back rub. Even the other day, Poilievre was called a misogynist by someone from a liberal strategy firm because he pushed back on a dishonest framing of a question from a CTV news commentator, from a news host. Really, they're just a pundit at that point. Really, the legacy media is on the conservative side. And I've seen these stupid charts these people put out where it's like, all of these publications endorsed the conservatives this election. No, they didn't. What happens is a single op-ed writer usually ends up endorsing a party. And then this chart just assumes that that's who the publication had endorsed, even though they'll probably have op-eds from other people from other parties who end up endorsing the Liberals or the NDP or whatever. I've said this before. If that's how it works, the National Post endorsed the New Blue Party in the Ontario 2022 election. I like the New Blue Party. If you live in Ontario, go join the New Blue Party. Way better than Doug Ford's PCs, because the PCs truly are no different from the Liberals and the NDP at this point. And I'm not doing that like other places around Canada. I would tell you to support the UCP in Alberta, support the BC Conservatives in British Columbia. Other provinces, I would support a more mainstream party. Other parties, I support a smaller party. The PCs are just no different from the Liberals. But regardless, because Conrad Black endorses the New Blue Party does not mean the National Post endorses them. That's foolish, and that example pretty much shows why. Now, let's get into some videos that some liberals have made arguing that actually either Justin Trudeau is very good or Poilievre is very bad, or that Poilievre's criticisms of Canada are illegitimate. So here's one. It's just a short 16-minute video, so I'll let the whole thing play first.
Everything is broken. Canada ranks 4th in the world for quality of life out of 194 countries. If you believe Pierre Poilievre's fake populism, you have a weak mind.
You have a weak mind. You have a weak mind to believe that Canada might have some issues. By the way, fourth place isn't that good in the grand scheme of things. Think about all the countries in the world that you would never want to step foot in. Remove all of those, and Canada probably has slipped since Harper was prime minister as either the number 1 or 2 best places to live on the planet down to 3 or 4. And by the way, Canada is advantaged in these charts. Plus, they're not exactly scientific. But Canada's advantage in these charts because Europe is also systematically deciding to destroy itself at the same time as Canada. And so, really, we're just falling at the same, like, we're falling slightly slower than somewhere like France would be falling or the UK. But Canada genuinely is broken from a governmental level, from the government getting in the way of people actually creating prosperity for themselves, getting in the way from law enforcement enforcing the law and actually locking up criminals, all these sorts of things. All these people are like, that Canada actually has a good quality of life. No one's arguing that it's better today than in the 1850s. It's not better today than the 1850s. Obviously, nobody's arguing that. But people base things on a relative scale to how things were like a decade ago. And in general, I don't feel like it's a good thing that our per capita incomes have fallen since a decade ago. That feels, rather embarrassing, especially as prices keep going up. But he's here to say, don't believe Pierre Poilievre's fake populism, blah, blah, blah. It's like, rabble, rabble. You're very clearly a privileged person. I don't mean this from the SJW sense that you're a white privileged male, a straight white privileged male. I just mean in the sense that this man probably is towards the end of his career. If not, he is already retired, probably has a lot of money in the bank, and he is here to tell you, as someone who might be struggling, that don't you know that you're living in the 4th best place in the planet? Don't you know that? Who cares? What? I didn't realize that I'm supposed to feel happy that I don't live in Zimbabwe. Like, I feel blessed that I don't live in somewhere like Equatorial Guinea, or I don't have to live in China. But still, can we have a little bit more objectivity than, well, this random account, this random website ranked Canada as being pretty good. Here's another one. And again, I'm not trying to go after anybody, but isn't it kind of a little bit nerve-wracking that you have people who are probably retired telling people who are having to live and work in this world that everything's actually very good? So here's him responding to someone saying that Pierre Poilievre should be prime minister. What's with all? I cannot stand TikTok. I don't have TikTok. I just talk about these clips when people upload them. All this is such low quality content.
All right, so I've seen a lot of these comments. So it's time to ask that question, why? After we post this post around Pierre Poilievre didn't support, he voted against the tax cut.
Oh yeah, okay. So Poilievre shouldn't be the prime minister because he didn't vote for the stupid HST GST tax cut, which is going to save most people a grand total of $5.
Temporary one, the GST over Christmas. He voted against the permanent tax cut for essentials that was introduced by the NDP.
The Liberals voted against it too. By the way, the NDP weren't even serious about that. That's why they proposed that at the last second. And usually last second changes to legislation do not get approved on the same day that they were trying to pass the major piece. That's why the NDP didn't even end up voting against the version of the bill that the Liberals put forward. They ended up voting for the version they said was bad because the NDP weren't really serious about removing the tax on essentials. They just want to look like they cared about removing the tax permanently.
On essentials like heating. And then he voted against schools giving kids lunches or food, a meal a day. He voted against...
Why do kids need a meal a day at school from the government? In the Harper years, I didn't remember that many kids starving in my classes. I didn't really notice that much suffering going on. It's almost like people could afford stuff themselves because the government wasn't taking nearly as much of their money and wasn't causing prices to increase by just burning barrels of cash. Oh, but the inflation crisis was worldwide. Yeah, a lot of countries are led by stupid people, by the way.
all kinds of stuff to help you. He voted against the child tax benefit. He was part of raising the retirement age to 67. He raised the taxes with Stephen Harper on you, cut all the funding.
Which taxes? Literally, which taxes? I don't doubt some taxes may have gone up under Harper, but overall, the Conservative government was far lower tax than the Liberals. Does he like that Trudeau raised the taxes? That's the funny thing with these people. They will see things that the Conservatives, that the Liberal, like the Conservatives didn't vote for the GST, HST tax holiday. Oh. It's like, okay. Also, things were lower tax in general when Harper was around. Oh, but he did raise some taxes. Well, are you going to make a video? You're going to make a follow-up TikTok video on how the Liberals have raised taxes? No, he only cares about cherry picking the stuff when he can, hit the Conservatives for it. And if the NDP or the Liberals do it, well, that's good because they're Liberals or the NDP. I hate this kind of team sport way of doing politics. This is why, for example, like I just said, I would support the New Blue Party if I'm in Ontario, because I think that Doug Ford is just not doing a good enough job to justify voting for him. Even if the Liberals got in, it would be like 5% worse than what Doug Ford's doing right now. He's a massive spender. His taxes are some of the highest in Canada. But like all these people are just on here, just pumping the Liberals and attacking the Conservatives because I guess that's my team, and that's not my team.
For affordable housing. So why? Give me an example, like 3 examples of why. Why would you vote for this person? You think that he's going to snap his fingers when he's elected and everything's going to be okay?
Is he admitting that everything's not okay right now? And I can easily name 3 things. He's going to crack down on crime, have stricter laws and sentencing for criminals. We're going to have lower taxes. We're going to get rid of the carbon taxes. We are going to deregulate the energy industry. We're going to rebuild the military. We are going to crack down on terrorist front group organizations that the Liberals don't care about. We're going to cut DEI positions in government. We are going to cut bloated government spending. I think I could keep going. I think I can name more than 3 reasons why I'd vote Pierre Poilievre. Is Pierre Poilievre perfect? No, he's not perfect. You're not going to find a politician who is perfect. But the thing is, I can actually explain why I vote for who I would vote for. I doubt this guy can come up with 3 reasons why the Liberals have done a good job without just naming programs that he can't substantiate whether they've succeeded or failed.
We went through a world pandemic, whether you believe it or not, where the world stopped economically for over 2 years. Every country's in the same boat.
No, they're not. They were all in separate boats doing the same stupid thing. No, and you're in the year 2024, and you're still bringing up the pandemic as some reason why the Liberals are like actually not that bad.
We're actually faring pretty well in Canada. And what exactly is broken? Come on, if you're going to say this, tell us what it is. And give us an example of what Conservatives have done long-term for any middle class or those living in poverty, except cut taxes for the rich.
Just cutting taxes for the rich. No, what are you talking about? Also, there's no way of cutting taxes that doesn't reduce prices for everybody, because it's a tax on the economy fundamentally. So if you cut business taxes, that would actually probably do more for people who are living in lower income situations than cutting the lower income personal income tax rates, because people in lower income tax rate brackets are already only paying like 5%. So if you reduce their tax burden by 25%, you may be saving them a few $100 a year. But if you cut business taxes from like 18% to like 15% or 14%, those people would probably be saving like $1,000 a year on a lot of products and services. But people like this were like, what did they do but cut stuff? Cut what? Why were people better off? Why were people better off when there were supposedly so many dangerous cuts going on? These people just believe, they just hear stuff in the media, and that becomes their personality. Not even what they believe, but their personality becomes, Pierre Poilievre wants to cut services that working class people need. You're not working class. Stop pretending that you know that these things even work.
Give it to us. Otherwise,
I'm using a swear so I can cut that off, faster here. Good timing on that. But this stuff is like exhausting to look at. I do this not only because it's funny, but like it actually demonstrates that the left doesn't have good arguments. I am finding videos, it's not like cringy liberal posts like a Twitter account who's just posting like weird TikTok videos from liberals. These are liberal accounts posting this stuff because they think it's good content. They're at square one when it comes to arguments. Conservatives are going to cut stuff. 63% of Canadians want to cut stuff because we have a bloated federal budget. People do not think we need DEI or ESG positions in government. People do not think that the 40% increase in federal employees over the past 9 years has been a good thing. That's just the reality of it. Do you think that our increasing of taxes since Trudeau's gotten in has made people more prosperous? Well, there's a child food program. Were people starving when Harper was prime minister? No, because people had more money and they could afford to give their kids food. It's the most delusional thing to think that you are helping people. You are more compassionate because you have programs to solve problems that you caused. How about we don't cause problems and then we don't have to pretend that we're solving them? A little bit of an idea there. Now I want to scroll through some stuff that BK Belton has also been posting because she tends to retweet a lot of crazy takes that I want to look at right now. I love this whole Canada isn't broken thing. Canada isn't broken. Conservatives are. Guys, and flag in the bio, all the flags, all the symbols and whatnot. Guys, it's not anti-patriotic to agree that the country can be doing better, that we have a bad government who is hurting the country with bad policy. But there are so many people out there who think that to even admit that there are problems would be like an offense against Trudeau. And that is the thing that we need more than ever is to please Trudeau. I couldn't care less what Trudeau wants. I actually don't care what Poilievre wants or any politician wants. I care about what's actually going to make people better off. But they first and foremost care about the well-being and emotional, and emotionally supporting Trudeau. After Chrystia Freeland was kicked out, basically fired, because that's what was happening. Even if she resigned, she was basically being fired. She just chose to preempt being fired. You can't fire me, I quit. And Freeland deserves to be fired, but Trudeau deserves to be fired at the exact same time because he told her what she should be doing the entire time. But what's the thing is here is what are you guys actually getting out of backing these people to the hill? After Freeland was fired, these people are actually saying, well, it was good because she was trouble. Guys, what? You liked Freeland up until 5 seconds ago when she quit, and now suddenly she's a villain. I think you might be in a cult if you actually believe people are bad just because they crossed the leader. Anyways, my voice is going on me there. Oh my goodness. I drink way too much coffee. I'm so dehydrated. But we have Kathy here saying, when Harper introduced his mega media propaganda machine to Canada, when did he introduce the mega media propaganda machine? I am confused, Kathy. We had no idea he was going to use it to destroy democracy worldwide. The oligarchs are taking the world, and Harper and his rich doobies further the riches and grow the lower income class. I don't even know what this person's talking about. These people are conspiracy theorists. Vicky Campbell, some people say it's time for change. Does that include losing your child tax benefits, health care, dental care, carbon tax rebate, child care, CPP, and working until 67 instead of 65? Does that include losing your wife's or daughter's right to choose? That kind of change? Guys, what are you on about? Either of these programs are obviously not being cut, or they're bloated boondoggle programs that nobody likes. I think Pierre Poilievre's popularity will plummet with mainstream voters, and he'll be forced to step down. When? When is that happening? I'd love to know. Depending on the severity, he could face criminal charges. What? Doug Ford could never survive Trudeau. He's a big dumb buffoon, and he doesn't speak French. He'd lose Quebec because of it too. I love how delusional these people are, that they've invented a scenario where Poilievre steps down, and for some reason Doug Ford is automatically assumed to be the next Conservative leader, and then Doug Ford loses to Trudeau. Guys, Trudeau might not even be here in 2 months. Christy Clark and Chrystia Freeland are very clearly trying to run for Liberal leadership. But you have people like Vicky Campbell here who have not even started to live in the reality that we all do, that to even understand the facts of where Trudeau stands. Here's BC here, or over Beastie. I'm starting to hate the CBC. Well, you and I both. And I was a great defender of CBC in the past. It's not me that's changed. It's CBC. Harper changed it. We never got it back. A far-right MSM. CPAC is the only way to find out what's going on in Canada. My goodness. The CBC is now far-right, guys. Apparently. Kimbo, the political landscape has been nasty and low-level due to the Conservatives. Trudeau needs to prorogue Parliament and let the FI report be tabled to let, or foreign interference report, be tabled and let Canadians be informed. The Conservatives are treasonous expletives. Time for the Liberals to bring an actual gun to the fight. Why? These people are actually posting hashtag Trump never won and stuff like that. It's all foreign interference. Kimbo, Justin Trudeau, just a quick thank you for all that you have accomplished in the past year for Canadians. Your care and concern for your country and its citizens is appreciated. I hope this holiday season you can relax and recharge and enjoy family time. Merry Christmas and Happy New Year. What family? What family does Justin Trudeau has? I'm pretty sure he doesn't even have a family anymore, by the way. These people just think they can wish cast good things into the world. And again, I'm not trying to go after anyone who's retired, but all of these people are retired. They don't actually need to make an income anymore, and they can sit on social media all day pumping up Trudeau, not because he's done anything good that they can actually point to in a real factual, here's a statistic that showed the program works kind of a way. They just like the aura of Justin Trudeau. He has a liberal progressive aura, and I'm a liberal progressive, so of course I like him. And you're a big, nasty, far-right conservative, MAGA supporting Maple something, whatever. It's like, no, maybe you're out of touch. Maybe you, just because you live in a nice house and you go to nice cocktail parties, does not mean that you're in touch. The metropolitan voter right now is the most delusional voter. They truly think that the CBC has become far right, not because the CBC is starting attacking Trudeau. They started asking him questions because the CBC is trying to save itself from the Conservatives cutting their budget, and the Conservatives should cut it anyways. What? It's actually mind-boggling that anyone can live in this reality where the Liberals are down 20 points and it's like, no, Trudeau's still going to win. Poilievre's going to step down any day now. This is literally Trudeau QAnon, as we call it, Trudeauanon. This is absolutely incredibly stupid. And the funny thing is, most of these people are not verified because being verified would give credence to Elon Musk's far-right platform. So it's not even like these people are monetized. These people truly believe what they're saying. They truly believe it because they're not making any ad revenue to post this stuff. They're just posting it. They actually think that, Poilievre and the Conservatives are going to cut your pension. No, they're not. They might raise the pension age because it's insane that it's unsustainable right now. But that's it. That doesn't mean you're getting your pension taken away. It's just you don't get the pension at 65. And really, I don't think people should even stop working at 65. The 65 age was, again, I said this in another video. They established that back in Prussia because people used to die at 57. That's why the retirement age was 65. But now people are like, well, I deserve to be able to retire at 65 after working 40 years or something like that, and 35 years. It's like, maybe, but at the same time, if you're going to live to 85, it feels a bit weird that for 20 years you get paid out without having to work anymore at all. 67 seems reasonable to bump it up a little bit more, especially since there's less people paying into the pension system these days. And we shouldn't be justifying mass immigration by saying, well, someone has to pay for the pension, so we're going to ruin the country to be able to make it so that you can retire at 65. Anyways, maybe unpopular take. But all these people that are making these videos, all they care about is these tiny little benefit programs that they don't even access because they're too wealthy to care about them. But they actually talk down to lower class people and think that you care about the carbon tax rebate. They think that you care about the school lunch programs and the dental programs and the pharmacare programs, rather than just having your taxes cut, corporate taxes cut, regulations removed, so you can actually become more prosperous on your own. I never want to feel like I had to get ahead by waiting for the government to do something for me. That's pathetic. But that's the world that these people think other people live in, even though they don't live in that world. They don't engage in any of these programs. They think that you're stupid enough to value them. And again, they just vote liberal and they support the liberals because it makes them feel progressive. Brittlestar, if you guys know him, is the most liberal supporter I've ever seen. He has the smug satisfaction for being liberal despite not knowing anything. He has the sardonic idea that the Conservatives are intolerant bigots, unlike myself. No, you're a bigot because you think anyone else other than you who believes the things you believe is a bigot. It's wild. Anyways, so this turned into a rant. But anyways, That's it for me today, guys. If, again, you like the channel, subscribe to the channel, like this video, leave a comment, and if you want to support us financially, you can always donate to the legal fund at the Give, Send, Go link, both in the description below, as well as pinned at the top of the comments. And you can also sign up on my website, WyattClaypool.com, if you ever want nomination or leadership race recommendations. Anyways, that's it for me today, guys. Have a good one.